Thank you very much, Stephen. Well, we start with that particular last story that you spoke about. Statistics South Africa saying that 119,000 formal jobs were lost in the second quarter of 2022. That's according to the quarterly employment statistics that looks at all the jobs apart from the agricultural sector. When it comes to this one, it is an enterprise-based sample survey conducted by StatsSA. The survey shows that total employment decreased by 1.2% quarter on quarter. That's from 10,067,000 jobs in March to just under 10 million at 9,948,000 jobs in June 2022. StatsSA says the drop was largely due to decreases in various industries, including the community services sector, which lost 100,000 jobs, business services down by 15,000 jobs, construction down as well by 13,000, including manufacturing there by 12,000. That's between April and June this year. But another report that was released today is the Career Junction Employment Insights report that shows just how redundant some jobs are becoming. And for more on that, we're joined by Paul Byrne, who is the head of data insights at Saon Group, which is a research firm that is linked to the Career Junctions portal. Paul, thank you very much for your time this afternoon. This latest report is quite telling when you look at how many jobs, Paul, have no place in 2022. You're talking about travel consultants. You're talking about those telemarketers. You are actually talking about a lot of jobs that were in high demand a couple of years ago, but not anymore. What's changed?
Solani, thank you. Good afternoon. I think first and foremost, if we put everything in the context of what this report is all about, it's a monthly report that we deliver. And specifically what we've recognized is that the world of work is changing so rapidly at the moment. And I think a large part of this is accelerated by the pandemic and what we've learned through that particular period. And emphatically, what it is showing us is the impact that digitalization is having on our business lives. And I think, to put this in perspective, when we look back just to Davos, which was at the end of May this year, the CEO of Capgemini was talking about the greater sort of impact of digitalization on the global economy and saying, when we talk about industries as diverse as electric vehicles, that has an impact on digitalization. When we talk about moving into a sustainable economy, that has an impact on digitalization. And basically, his message to us is saying that the world is moving into this digital economy and we need to actually start developing more skills to keep up with that particular demand to make sure we can sustain this global growth in the economy. So what we've done is we've taken that step back and said, okay, let's understand now the impact that we are finding here in South Africa because of this growth of digitalization around the world. And I think, that's been really, really telling. We've looked across industries as far and diverse as from finance to your banking to retail to commerce, the whole sort of vista of what it is that we've got here in South Africa. And that's where this information is coming from. And there are 8 key sort of areas that we've identified where the shortage is happening.
Let's talk, Paul, about what the report says about the jobs that are becoming increasingly redundant and actually says facing extinction in the near future. But looking at some of these, this report, what it is contained here, it is quite clear that it's not in the near future. It's quite it's arrived already, this extinction of certain jobs.
Very much so. And I think, if you're looking across sort of the extinction of jobs, what we're seeing is the broadest impact is happening across print media, is happening across travel agencies, is happening across our postal services. And that's the impact that we've seen in South Africa. But if I break that down and I sort of talk more to sort of even the finance industry, what we've seen is that over the last 5 years, and this, by the way, is sort of the key to all of this research that we've done, is we've mapped the changes in demand for these jobs over the last 5 years. And bank tellers, for argument's sake, are 58% down in demand compared to where we were 5 years ago. And I think if you really think about that role of what a bank teller has to play in terms of taking deposits, making withdrawals, helping people interact and engage with their bank accounts, that's really been replaced by banking apps, digital banking, and even our mainstream banks have moved to reduce the number of branches that they've got within South Africa. So I'm not surprised by that type of figure, but still 58% down is an astronomical figure in terms of a change that is having on the industry. Travel consultants is another sort of a key plan. If you think about how we interact with our holidays, so many of us now engage online in terms of finding out what the best deals are. You know, we can book our cars, we can book our flights, we can book our accommodation through apps, some of them locally built, some of them overseas built apps. And as a result, travel consultants, in terms of the demand for those roles, has dropped a good 21%. And so the list goes all the way down. You know, data capturers. You know, technology has advanced so far now that the opportunity to actually capture data via voice is transforming the way that we work. And even in that space, we're seeing that type of role is 19% down. Telemarketers, librarians, even insurance brokers are actually showing the stock decline. Insurance brokers, 27% down in terms of what the South African economy is looking for at the moment. I suppose, again, bringing us back into the context of that changing world of work, what we're really seeing as the common thread over here, Zolani, is that it's those routine tasks, the things that can be automated and computerized. Those are the types of jobs the jobs that rely on those routine tasks. Those are the ones that have been replaced. It is the non-routine jobs that are actually going to start accelerating in terms of the demand for the type of opportunity that we're looking for in the future. And again, just to put that in perspective, the World Economic Forum in a jobs report, which again just brings the context back into how quickly this is all happening for us, they suggested in a report in 2020 that roughly 85 million jobs that we know today will be displaced by 2025, which is 3 years away from now. But the comparison to that in terms of what digitalization is actually creating for us is an opportunity for at least another 97 million jobs. So I think the positive message is that the world needs to change. We need to change even here as an economy in South Africa in terms of how we approach the job market and understand that this change is taking place, and we need to upskill people that are in those sort of more routine jobs to be able to take on jobs into the future.
Let's talk about where recruiters are hiring, which jobs are actually in high demand right now. Looking at the report, you're looking at design, media, arts, education. What are the jobs that have you seen in the past couple of years being in high demand?
Well, if I'm looking across at the high demand jobs that we're definitely seeing coming to the fore are your business and management jobs. Even if I look at sort of the last 3 months, that type of opportunity is a good 5% up. And that includes things like business development, staff recruitment, executive management and directorships. We're looking at middle department management, even team leaders and supervisors. There's been a very big sort of drive towards that kind of recruitment, and I've seen that quite consistent over the last couple of quarters. The finance roles also actually are quite considerably up this month in terms of our report. And we're saying that our data is showing that finance roles are 9% up over the last 3 months in terms of the demand for roles. And that includes your accountants, your bookkeepers, your financial analysts, your internal auditors. So a good range of what's actually happening in that finance space. And then, no surprises, but within the IT field, information technology, 8% up over the last quarter. Your business analysts, your data engineers, your software developers, your systems and analysts, those are the key roles that seem to be advertised for at the moment. And I think if I really sort of break things down in terms of what my view is looking at this particular data, IT and data-related jobs are going to dominate into the future in terms of what we see as the future world of work. And I think business and management are going to be following close behind that. And then actually sales roles are going to continue to be incredibly important, because at the end of the day, whatever product or service any organization is producing today still needs to be marketed and sold to the broader market. So I think that's where we're going to see a lot of opportunities being created, and it's certainly in line with the data that we're seeing within our results, within our report at the moment.
Paul, thank you very much for your time this afternoon. Paul Byrne is the head of data insights at Saon Group, which is a research firm that is looking at recruitment and job trends in South Africa, comparing it when it comes to what's happening around the world.